Wherever I travel, whether it's my gym or someone else's, I see people with bad form. By bad form, I mean not doing exercises correctly. This can lead to danger. One, you can hurt yourself. Two, you're not going to get the results you want in the gym. You've got to put your mind in your muscle. You've got to concentrate on what you're doing, take your ego out and get your movements right. There's so many exercises perform badly that we're going to do this over 2 parts. So in today's part, we're going to cover 5 exercises that people do wrong in the gym. And today we're here with Jay Kennedy, who's just won the IFBB under 90 kilogram Victorian Championships. Welcome to MuscleTV, Jay.
Thanks, mate. We're
going to start out with some deadlifts. You know what it's like, you go to the gym all the time. Deadlifts drive me crazy because people do them wrong and it can really hurt your back if you don't get it right. So we're going to show you how to do them wrong. Jay's going to do a shocker. He's normally a good trainer, but we're going to go back today and let's do a shocker and show where people go wrong. Then we're going to correct it, get your posture right and show people how to deadlift. 2 biggest things we're going to work on today is posture and setup. When I say setup, it's having your feet in the right spot, your shoulders in the right spot, your hands in the right spot. When I say posture, it's all about having a flat back or your shoulders back or your hips forward or whatever it may be. We'll do that with each exercise. So let's go into the deadlift, Jay. Let's just do the one that we see people doing all over the world, which is just not quite right. Okay, now I'm just going to get you to pause there, Jay, and we'll see what Jay's doing wrong. And it's all in the setup, as I said. His back's rounded, his bum's up in the air, his legs are almost straight. Come up, Jay. And then when he's getting to here, he's not arching, he's not putting his hips forward. So it's a very simple thing to correct. His feet aren't bad, his posture's good, his setup's okay, but we're doing it all wrong. So down you go. And when you get to the bottom, Jay, I'm going to say straighten your arms. First thing you do a deadlift, get your arms locked out, drop your bum down and flatten your back. It's got to be flat. Now you're set up, ready to go. Now push up with your legs and hips. And when you get to here, push your hips forward and roll your shoulders back. That's a perfect deadlift. A way to know that your posture's right is to always look up slightly. I tell people don't do these in the mirror because that forces you to look straight ahead and watch your body while you do them. As you see, Jay's found some pitches up nice and high. He's focused on the bottom of the frame and he keeps his eyes on that level, which really enables him to keep that back flat, particularly at the bottom of the movement, and that's where it counts. The next exercise we're going to look at today is the squat. Like the deadlift, fantastic exercise, works a whole lot of your body, at least half, but you see it done wrong all the time. And like the deadlift, it's probably the one where you can injure yourself the most if you don't get it right. So we're going to show you a few little things today, some very simple things just about posture, about setting yourself up right, and about range of motion. Jay's here ready to go. Jay, let's get into these squats. Well, now this is unfortunately how you see squats getting done all over the world. A lot of the gyms don't have experienced trainers, don't know how to do them right. So we're going to get him to do a couple of squats. Okay, you see the bar's up way too high on his neck, his back's rounded, he's not going all the way down, and even worse, look at his feet, too close together. He just hasn't got any balance whatsoever. What we need to do is put your feet out wider, point your toes out, and make sure that your knees go over your toes when you squat. You don't want to have your toes pointing out and then your knees folding in. That's no good. We're gonna let the bar go a little bit down lower on your traps. The way to do that is to take your hands out wider. Slide your hands out. Now what I'm gonna get you to do is to lift your elbows up. A bit more. Now arch your back, stick your bum out. Now, you've got a good arch here. You'll see his lower back here is nice and arched. He's got massive traps, this bloke, so he can actually fit the bar in between his upper and lower traps. So you can't slide it off. Whereas before, when it was up high, I could have just pulled the bar down and he would have dropped it. So hands out wide, even all the way to the edge, Jay, and lift your elbows up. That requires a bit of flexibility, but that'll come. Feet wide, and let's do a full squat. Down we go. Now, you see the difference there. His back's flat. He's getting a full range, and we know that because his thighs parallel. Chin up. Once again, his eyes are cast up nice and high because that keeps his back flat and straight and drives out of the bottom. So what we're going to do now, Jay, is go down a little bit slower, but let's give it a little bit more power on the way up. Now, when I tell people to squat a bit faster, it means go down slow and come up hard, like we do with all of our power movements. Down slow, drive it up. Down slow, drive it up. You breathe out with the effort, so as he comes up, that's a great set. Put the bar back and have a rest for a sec. Our next exercise is dumbbell side raise. I'd have to say universally the worst performed exercise in any gym all over the world. It's a phenomenon how badly people do these. And it's only a couple of things can make all the difference. So let's just have a look at a typical side raise we see all over the place. Let it rip, Jay. Okay, and I've seen a lot worse than this, but just pause for a sec. Now, where he's going wrong, the first thing is people love putting one foot in front of the other. It's really bad because it gives you a pivot point for your lower back to get involved and for your legs to get involved. So bring your legs back together. All right, the next thing you did, you bent forward. And it's okay to bend forward slightly, but only about 3 to 5 degrees. So bend forward, stop. now we've got your posture right, we're going to do the unspeakable and cut back on your weights. Jay started with a 10 kilo weight, which you see people starting with all over the world, and they haven't got their form sorted, therefore all the other muscles get involved. We're just talking about this part of the shoulder here, your side deltoid or your lateral head of your deltoid, and this is a very small muscle, so you don't need a massive weight. It's not a deadlift or a bench press, it's a very specific mind in the muscle sort of trick. So put those ones down. I've got some other ones here ready for you. We'll go back to 5s and we're going to get this right. So let's set him up properly. First thing is feet together, good. Slightly bent, but that's where you lock it. So you don't bend forward every rep, you stay exactly where you are. You start like that and you come out as wide as you can and get your elbows up higher than your hands. That's perfect, but they're still a little bit forward. We want to come back out here. Imagine I've got 2 brick walls. Have a look over here, mate. Got one here and one here. You've got to put the weight right between them. Go. All right, now stop. What we have to see here, as Jay drop that arm down, I'm just going to hold here. You've got too much of a bend in your arm. We've got to be out here like this with your wrist straight and your elbow up. That's good form right there. So that's no good. And if you bend your wrist like that, that's no good. So you've got to get your wrist straight, your arm almost straight. So that's about 90% straight and your elbow up nice and high. So you don't want that, you want that. And when you know you're doing them right, you look down into the mirror and all you can see is the round part of the dumbbell. If you can see any part of the handle, you've got it wrong. Now, it's great because Jason's in competition shape. We can see all these muscles. Just bend forward. We've just done this muscle here. We're trying now just to isolate this rear delt here. It's great for your posture. It actually gives you stabilisation, everything in your bench press, but it's what gives you a thickness in your shoulder when you stand to the side. So this is the muscle here that we're working at. He's in great nick and we can see what we're working. So let's see if we can isolate that one. Right, our first exercise for this, main exercise you do, is a bent over side raise or a rear raise. Now, we'll start with the 10s once again, and then we'll have the other dumbbells ready, just in case we have to correct your form. Okay, now what Jason's doing wrong is what we talked about before, setup and posture. Stop for a sec, Jason. Now, what you've got to do, just put the weights down for a minute. Okay, what you've got to do is bend over so your back's flat. Now, arch your back, stick your bum out, bend your knees a bit more. All right, take all the pressure off your lower back there. Now, the other thing you're doing, come up with no weight at all. Now, what's happening is your elbows are pointed back towards me. We've got to spin them around, keep your wrist this way, your elbow that way. See, this is popped out. When you're back here, it's not even flexed. Do that, it pops straight up. So this is the movement here. We've got this word we use on MuscleTV all the time called reset. I'm going to show you what that means. Stay right where you are. Righto. Grab these dumbbells here. One in each hand. Right, now, up you go. Out nice and wide. Okay, first thing, your wrist is the wrong way. The dumbbell's got to face the mirror and your elbows have got to be to the front. So when you get to the top of the movement, that's where you're at. Now, the way to do this is when you're at the bottom, bend your elbows slightly before you start. No, before you start. Bend your elbows a little bit. Now, roll them forward. Now, go out nice and wide. Up you go, go. Keep them that way, but out wide and down. Stop, reset, elbows forward, dumbbell flat. That's it, bit wider. You want a bit narrow with that one. Wider. That's it, you've got to open up. Go. Reset that time so it's becoming automatic. Reset. And have a break for a second. That's pretty tricky, isn't it? So it's all about getting your mind in the muscle. So I'm going to show you a technique here that might really help. Let's pretend you're doing a dumbbell fly. So you do it lying down flat, obviously. Now, come up as if you're doing a dumbbell fly. Do one. Now, see how wide you are? You're nice and open now. Go halfway down and do it again. Halfway down. Do it again. Dumbbell fly. Good. Okay. Now let's just go to the bottom of the movement where you were, reset, and do the same thing. Open up like a fly. Now he's got it. We're there. We were just talking about dumbbell flies when we did rear delts. This is the exact opposite of your rear delts. And while we're here, let's rip into dumbbell flies. Jay, let's show us how someone may do a dumbbell fly in a gym. Let's go. Once again, Jay's a very experienced competitor and trainer. Now you look at that and you might think that's okay, but it's not. The reason is, I'll show you, come to the bottom of the movement. Now when he gets to here, his arms are way too bent, and therefore when he comes up, it's a press. So his triceps, his traps to a point are doing the work and not his chest. How do we fix it? We keep your arms straight. Jay, go as wide as you can. Wide, out wide, open up. Now come around the big circle like you're hugging a tree. Better. I'm going to tell you something straight away. Go. Jay's a strong guy, but he's never done this movement properly. Therefore, from here, no, they bend again. Out wide. Now go up in the big circle. Now from here, look, he's got no strength. I can hold him back there. Reason is he hasn't been working those muscles. Out wide, wide, wide. Now big circle, up you come. Come up. Now when you get to the top, squeeze them together. Let's make it even harder. Boom. Because I'll tell you something about flies. What happens with flies, this bit here is easy. Up, come up. Then it gets hard, then it gets easy again at the top. So what you have to do is push them together to make it hard. Stick your chest out. You're not even flexing it. Come on, flex your chest. That's better. It's all about getting your mind in your muscle. I'm going to teach him today how to put his mind into his chest. Out wide now, big circle, don't press it, come up. And when you get to here, push against me. Now squeeze them together, stick your chest up, like you're doing the most muscular. Much better, it wasn't even flexing before. Big circle. And last one, nice and wide. Keep your elbows back, keep them back, and round you go. Big bus hug, and squeeze at the top. Squeeze, 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 and put them down. How'd that feel?
Good.
Unbelievable. He's got more out of that set than he'd normally get out of 4 sets with twice the weight. Reason being, we've isolated the muscle that we're trying to work. With a couple little tweaks, all of a sudden he's squeezing at the top, and he'll get a sore chest just from that one set. Fantastic workout, Jay. One of the reasons we started MuscleTV is because there was no information out there about how to train. Everyone can, you know, even worse now with the internet, everyone can download a program, but you can't work out how to do each movement and how important it is to get it right. So not only do you learn at home, but our elite athletes learn, even your host learns. I've learned so much from hosting MuscleTV by analysing movements and pulling them to pieces. Then we can share it with the athletes, and the athletes share it with their clients, and we share it with you at home on TV. So take these little hints, these little 5% things, and work your muscle. Jay just said to me then he's going to go off and try all this stuff and really learn about putting his mind in his muscle and take this fantastic physique to the next level. Because you've won the biggest amateur show in the state now, you're going up to the Nationals to try and win the national title, you'll be at the Arnold Classic, and you'll be in front of the world's media and everything else, so you're going to get noticed. So it's time to crank this physique up and to take these tiny tweaks and turn them into something. So thanks for coming on MuscleTV today. You've been fantastic, you're in great nick. We'll have more of this segment on our next episode, so until next week, see you in the gym.
MuscleTV was proudly brought to you by Maxine's, for the body you want, and Max's, because life's too short to be small.